Peace and blessings. My name is Sister Angelica X. We are out here serving our community, making our community a decent and safe place to live. Nurture from A to Z, knowing that healing isn't a destination. We gotta remember that.
Most every disease can be eliminated through herbs, plant-based eating, internal cleansing.
Okay. I am healing.
I am healing.
I am whole.
I am whole.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am divine.
I am divine.
I restore.
I restore.
I rise.
I rise.
I thrive.
I thrive.
All right. I love it. And I'll leave you all as I came. Peace and blessings.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Peace, healing, and light. And welcome back to another episode of Healing with Angelica podcast, where we discuss all things healing. And if you are new to the show, welcome, beautiful souls. So, before we get started on today's episode with our powerhouse guest, I just want to say I missed you all. I just want to say thank you so much for the much needed love and prayers as I took some time to heal and restore. So I'm very, very grateful to be back, and I missed you all. Also, you guys, please be sure to share, like, follow, and subscribe so you won't miss out on any of our upcoming episodes on any of your favorite podcast station. Closing the Gap broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. Knowledge for Life on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, Healing with Angelica on Facebook and YouTube to help spread the light of healing to others in need. We have finally hit 1,000 subscribers. Praise be to Allah. Also, if you are ready to move from awareness into action, now is the time. We offer one-on-one lifestyle wellness coaching through Healing with Angelica. So book a session today by texting the word HWA to 614-585-6040. More info will be in the description at the bottom of your screen. So, on today's episode, we have an amazing guest joining us today. We have our dear brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Welcome back, Dr. Wesley. It's been so long. So grateful to have you here. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm so honored to be back on your powerful platform. It has been a while, and you have grown in leaps and bounds, dear Sister Angelica. I'm proud of you.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you so much, Dr. Wesley. I literally got you on a show when I was in processing and everything. So it's grateful to see where we are today. So praise be to Allah. Thank you so much. All right. And for the viewing audience who may not know who Dr. Brother Wesley is, I'm pretty sure you all know. However, we need to get into this topic today. So if you do not know who my brother is, please be sure to view the bio in the above description. Now, let's get started on today's episode, Reclaiming the Narrative, UFOs, Black Guys, and the Awakening of Our People. And please, for my audience, do not hesitate to put any questions you may have for our guests in the comment section below. So, today's conversation is one that really makes us pause and ask deeper questions about perception, memory, and how truth can be shaped or even distorted over time. We're diving into the Ariel School Incident of 1994, where over 62 children in Zimbabwe witnessed what they described as a close encounter. What makes this story so powerful isn't just what was seen, but how it was later interpreted, retold, and in some cases, possibly altered. Were these children simply imagining things, or is there a deeper layer here about above influence, narrative control, and whose voices are truly heard? We're also going to explore the role of investigators, how testimonies shift over time, and the importance of preserving truth, especially when it comes from the purest voices, our children. I'm honored to have my special guest joining me today, who is going to help us unpack this and bring us insight and also challenge us to think critically. So let's get started. Oh my God, Dr. Wesley, before we get started, this is a blooper. When I say such a beautiful report, I felt like I was in the report, just taking in the actual moment of what happened that day and throughout the first couple of days of what happened in Zimbabwe. So
Thank you
I think,
for sharing that.
yeah, it was very detailed and I loved it. So I just wanted to
Thank,
give you flowers on that.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, one, for reading it. Right?
Yes.
We, I know we're not readers, our general population, like we should be. We do a lot of talking. What I appreciate about you is on podcasts where it's for us to verbalize our thoughts, but too often these platforms are unprocessed thoughts that are verbalized.
Mhm.
And so you took the time to do the reading, and I appreciate you for that. That's a very responsible use of, excuse me, of the platform. I personally don't like to hear. I think there's too much. There's too many podcasts because there's too much unprocessed verbalized. You know,
Mhm.
talking for the sake of talking. So thank you for being studious, whether it's my work or others, preparing for the conversation by actually doing the work, reading. This is that's what makes these platforms valuable. Absent that, internet platforms are just talk,
Mhm.
unnecessary babble. And there's too much of that. There's too little of what you represent. So kudos.
Praise be to Allah, Dr. Wesley. Thank you so much for that. Now, I want to go ahead and get started. It's like so much to unpack just within this report. And I just wanted to just dive in deep with the first question. And just like I have it on the screen, you guys, please, you guys have any question, do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to put your questions in the comment section below. So I just wanted to just spark your interest as to what was it that sparked your interest to re-examine the Ariel School incident.
Well, it was always on the list because that's the nature of what I do in this particular field. I would be what you would call a revisionist ufologist. Right? A ufologist is one who studies and writes on the UFO phenomenon. Revisionism, a revisionist, is one who revisits an historical narrative and challenges it and impeaches it based on new or suppressed data. And I have produced a alternative, a revisionist history of pretty much all of the major landmark events of modern ufology. The- because all of them in their current popular narrative are wrong. The
Hmm.
Battle of Los Angeles, February 1942. The Roswell crash, July 1947. The Roswell of Britain of night December 1980.
Mhm.
All of the major events, the signpost events of modern ufology in our book, the two books now, Chariots of the Black Gods,
Mhm.
we revised the narrative because the popular narratives are based on lie by omission
Mhm.
and lie by commission. So it was inevitable that I was going to get to the Ariel UFO incident that took place in Africa.
Mhm.
And this is such a um, clinic case. The Ariel case itself offers a clinic on, as you nicely worded it, narrative control, narrative manipulation.
Mhm.
This is the most transparent case of narrative manipulation. This lies not just by omission, but lies by commission, by the deliberate alteration of words.
Mhm.
And so the Ariel School incident is a perfect study because it illustrates the truth of the black gods at the root of this phenomenon, and it demonstrates the lie that modern ufology represents.
Absolutely, absolutely. Praise be to Allah. I definitely agree with that. Um, it also made me think about just how the narrative being so distorted, and how even just with us through time, how our own narratives as Black people here has been distorted as well. So it just made me reflect on that.
Well, of course, this is
Mhm.
not separate from, it's a part of the distorting of black folks here
There you
history,
go.
right? That's precisely why there's so much deception in ufology.
Yep.
I have said the last best kept secret of ufology is the Asiatic blackness of the
Mhm.
pilots. This new era of disclosure that we're in, government disclosure that we're in. This disclosure is disguised deception.
Mm.
But the deception they are willing to give us, the UFOs. Yes, we deceived y'all all these years. We said there was no UFOs. It was swamp gas. No,
Mhm.
we always knew it wasn't swamp gas. The UFOs are real. We're hearing this on Capitol Hill practically every 90 days, certainly once or twice every year since 2020, it seems. So they're giving us the UFO, the craft,
Mm.
but they're hitching to that wagon unofficially. They're officially giving us the craft. Unofficially, they're hitching to that wagon the lie of aliens. And the reason this is important is they don't want the truth of the reality of the pilots
Mm.
to be revealed because that is part of our history, better said, our destiny. It is a part of our now. And that is the singular fear and threat of this country. See, these by now, maybe 50 million so called Negroes, the Negro problem that this country has had and has been perplexed by and agitated by, not knowing what to do with this Negro problem, not knowing how to solve this Negro problem, but knowing that America's fate is tied to this Negro problem.
Mm.
They now know that the UFO phenomenon is a part of the resolution of this Negro problem. And they don't like what it portends, rightfully so.
Mm.
Because I ended on this, as President Thomas Jefferson said, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson, that he trembled for his country when he reflected that God was a just God and his justice will not sleep forever. The justice coming to America is flying around America's skies. The injustice
Mm.
that she will pay for is the injustice she has done to the so-called Negro of America.
Mm, 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 mm. Oh, thank you for that. So I want to get more into the Ariel School incident. From your understanding, what made the Ariel School incident one of the most documented, incredible UFO encounters of all time?
Yeah. It the gods well choreographed
Mhm.
this incident. The gods clearly intended this incident to move the needle of disclosure. Understand, the gods have been engaged in a disclosure project. We think we're waiting for the government to do
Mhm.
disclosure. Now, the gods have been engaging, the pilots of these craft have been engaging in a self disclosure project for decades. That's the point of these encounters, these close encounters, in particular, close encounters of the third kind. They are part of the disclosure project of the gods themselves. So, Ariel, the Ariel School incident, and for those who don't know, Ariel is the name of a school in Rua, Zimbabwe.
Mm.
Rua is a village in Zimbabwe, Africa. Ariel in 1994, very different. You can't Google Ariel School and read about it today and think you're reading about the conditions that prevailed in 1994. Absolutely not.
Mm.
Area School today is a predominantly Black African school. That absolutely was not the case in 1994. It was a school for the wealthy, largely wealthy white expatriates from South Africa and Britain. Their children were sent to Ariel. It's a wealthy school. So the gods chose this, choreographed this incident of disclosure so well. Right? The mothership made an appearance the 2 days before.
Yep.
This incident really began on Wednesday, where the climax occurred on Friday.
Mhm.
The incident, it was a multi-day incident. It began on Wednesday, where the mothership itself and baby planes
Mhm.
made an appearance, a display throughout Southern Africa, shaking the southern portion of the country, serving notice, getting everybody's attention in a big way. The mothership, the mother wheel, I mean, a fleet of baby planes flying around Southern Africa. All the phones are buzzing, the news is buzzing. So the guys got their attention. Thursday, the school that they had targeted for disclosure, a couple baby planes made an appearance at the school just to let the children see them before the main event,
Mm.
prep them for the main event, if you will. And then came Friday. Now, how you know this was so perfectly planned? Ariel School, the it went from kindergarten, went and the students were from 6 years old to 12 years old.
Mhm.
And they had multiple breaks during the day, but of course, always because they're children. Their staff on the playground with the children,
Mhm.
except on this particular day. It was pre planned that during the morning break, the children all 200 of them from 6 years old to 12, will take their break, but none of the adult staff were out with them because they were in a staff meeting that
Mm.
happened to take place during this break. Normally it's not, but on this day it was. And the gods knew that on that Friday, during that mid morning break, that all of the children will be outside and all of the adults will be sequestered in the building.
Mm.
They chose that time to have the main event of the Ariel event. So several craft flew in, hovered, but one of the craft landed.
Mm.
There's 200 students. They're saying that they're excited, and around 60 of them managed to get to some distance to the craft. But again, how they choreographed it so perfectly. The playground outside of Ariel School, the playgrounds, there wasn't a fence, but they didn't need to be. The movement of the children were restricted because at a certain distance, there was a swamp area. And across the swamp area, there's dry land, but that cuts off the children. They can't go any further than that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a natural barrier, but there's still visibility. And so during that 15-minute break, the guys decided that moment, that rare case where 200 Ariel students would be unsupervised outside. And they chose the specific location to descend right across that natural boundary, close enough for them to see, but obstructed. They can't get too close.
Mm.
The children are protected by that natural boundary. They can come only so close enough to see, but not close enough to be or do any harm. So it's perfectly planned, and it was long enough. So 2 or 3 of the pilots got out, and so 62 students, but I'm sure more than 62.
Mm-hmm.
Clarify that. 200 students were out on the field. We only hear this number 62 students, not because only 62 saw the event. It's because the school did not allow the investigators to interview any of the younger ones.
Mm.
So the youngest ones saw. We don't know what they say they saw because we didn't hear from, none of them were interviewed. So the 62 that are on record witnessing and testifying of their witness, those 62 come from the group that were permitted to be interviewed by the investigators.
Mm.
They saw 3 beings get out that disc-shaped craft, and they saw them engage in anomalous activity. And across the board, the students said before the adults interfered, and that's why the gods made sure they disclosed themselves to the students without the adults, because with Ariel, you have the clearest example of the conflict between the truthfulness of children and the deceitfulness of adults. This case illustrates that dichotomy so well. The largely white children in their honesty. They said, "Oh, it's black men.
Mm.
These black men." I was scared. They had big eyes, had long hair like Michael Jackson, but they were black, not just their suit. Their face and their hands were black, and their
Mm.
suit. So that's why they said they were all black. Their face was black, their hands were black, and they were in a black suit. And they drew why this case is so important, so solid in terms of documentation. One, you have so many witness testimonies. That's a mass witness event. 62 went on record.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they verbalize what they experienced, they were asked by the school headmaster to draw and write what they experienced. So we have the images that they drew.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, the craft that they experienced. And see, the beings, the black men that they experienced, they weren't looking for some in particular. The black, see,
Mm-hmm.
color, that was the crayon that she had at the time. Well, we have all of these documents from the witnesses witnessing in near real time what they experienced. And they experienced black men getting out of a UFO. And the black men had Asiatic eyes. At least one had long hair like Michael Jackson, they said.
Mm-hmm.
And at least one other was bald-headed. This is the real-time, honest, near universal testimony of the children who witnessed it. None of the children said that they were white men. They were so confused. They at first they thought that it was the Zimbabwean gardener.
Gardner. Yep.
How he get out of that? How he come? How so come out of a UFO?
Yeah.
But then as he looked closer, he said, "Oh no, that's not the gardener. His eyes are too big in there. In his hair ain't like African hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, African hair, but that long Michael Jackson hair, that's our gardener don't have that." So it's a solid case, multiple. So we have BBC. This event happened Friday. The children told all of their staff immediately, the headmaster. So we got real-time accounts. They went home for the weekend, told their parents by Monday, BBC was on site interviewing the investigators. Now, the investigators, the minute the adults, the investigators, and in particular, the ufologists,
Yep.
the minute ufology got a hold of the case, it was bastardized.
Yep.
Ufology. You can't even blame this on the media. The media, BBC, was more truthful and honest about this account. It was ufology that hijacked the Ariel School Incident. And in particular, Cynthia Hines, the MUFON ufologist. So I'll write about the crimes of Cynthia Hines. She was criminal, from my perspective, criminal in her handling of the testimony of those children.
Mm, mm, mm. I couldn't wait for you to get to Miss Cynthia Hines. She was something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so wow. And hey, if you guys do not have this report, please be sure to get it. Dr. Wesley, please let them know how they can get this report. It's very detailed and it's very critical for our understanding of our past and our future.
Yeah, this is the report. I don't know if you could see it. Ariel Revisited, how the most important UFO event in Africa was covered up by ufology.
Mm,
The government didn't cover this up. Ufology covered this up.
mhm.
The report is 76 pages. You can order it. Send $10 to my Cash App, $D.R. Wesley. Send $10 and your email address, and I will send you a PDF copy of the report.
Mhm. Yes, yes. I do have the information scrolling down the screen to get that. $10, send it to Dr. Wesley and leave your email. And I'm telling you guys, I love, like I said, like as I was reading it, I felt like I was in the story, but not in the story. It was very detailed, and
Thank you for
to
that.
just see how just even we know how our narratives has been shaped over time, but to actually see and witness and actually read a report of how this incident and the narratives was shift and how we had these young children, and it was something that was stated on here, how children don't lie. And
Mhm.
no.
Very. This is what one of mm, yeah, one of the very important cases.
Hmm.
Lisa, one of the key
Yeah.
figures, both as a student witness, as a child, and as an adult today.
Hmm.
This particular witness, Lisa, young lady, she was classified under those classifications as colored, meaning mixed. And Lisa was, I think, 11 at the time
Hmm.
of the incident. She's well spoken, very articulate. So, as the investigators and the news reports or news agencies would frequently flock to Ariel to question the students, little Lisa emerged as one of the really the main spokespersons,
Yep.
certainly one of the main spokespersons for the group. She so we have archival footage of little Lisa speaking to the press and speaking to the investigators. Multiple testimonies of her on record. And she
Hmm.
said, what did you see? She saw a black man get out. She was one of those who first thought it was a gardener.
Yeah.
But then she said, no, it ain't the gardener. She had, his eyes were too big. And so Lisa is also the one who said when one of the reporters asked her about her account, and she said, well, the reporter asked her, well, did you told the staff, did they believe you? She said, no, they didn't. But with children, don't lie. We tell the
Hmm.
truth. And that was so prophetic because little Lisa told the truth. Grown Lisa was recruited to be part of the Ariel Phenomenon Project. That's the documentary, 2022, I believe, main documentary on the Ariel School Incident.
Hmm.
And Lisa along with her colleague Salma Siddiq, who
Yep.
was also was a black girl, then a black woman. Now, these two sisters were the main persons doing a promo for this project. The white man recruited them, the producer of the project, Nicholson, I believe. And they were the faces. They did the promotion for Randall Nickerson is the producer of Ariel Phenomenon, and he recruited them. And for years leading up to its release, these two sisters,
Hmm.
Lisa and Salma, were the ones presenting their experience as part of the promo for the imminently released documentary. And these adults now give accounts that totally demonstrably conflict with their testimony as children.
Hmm.
And so Lil Lisa told the truth, adult Lisa not so much. Not so much. While
Hmm.
little Lisa said, as all of them said, they were black men and they drew black faces. Adult Lisa said it was a white face.
Hmm.
Never
Absolutely.
heard
Yeah.
that
It
from
went.
her as
Hmm.
a child witness. We never heard that. We didn't hear that from many of the other witnesses. Only adult
Hmm.
Lisa and Salma.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
And as
lie.
hmm
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're fine. You're fine. As in the report, it gave just the three interviews that was done with Lisel, if that's how you pronounce her name, when she was a child, before we got a recent for a recent interview was made of her as she was an adult, and how um and that's a I'll ask this quick question because I see we do have questions and want to make sure we get as much question in as we can. But do you honestly would you say that during time that maybe her recollection of the incident
I'm
was
sure.
just misremembered on her
Misremember
own, or was it pro-
with
okay?
help. It was both.
Mm,
It was both. Now, Lisa and the others were coached from the very beginning
mm-hmm,
by Cynthia Hines. We see her in real time coaching and directing this young student she's interviewing. She's not just interviewing, she's not just trying to solicit information out of them. We see her putting information in them.
mm-hmm,
So it was Cynthia Hines that introduced the white faced alien from Ariel. She did it on the basis of doing violence to a student's testimony. She and her assistant put the white faced alien into the atmosphere. So, as student witnesses grew up, such as Sister Salma, such as Sister Lisa, they, I'm sure they internalized some of it, and the black pilot's narrative. You heard it nowhere in ufology. Nobody was getting on television to say it. No one was recruited and hired to be on any documentaries saying anything other than what ufology has accepted as recognized UFO occupants.
Mm-hmm.
So there was tremendous pressure to conform to ufology's orthodoxy. So that pressure, we know in other cases how that pressure forces a misremembering on the witness themselves. I do not charge our sisters with maliciousness. I know they were coached. Now, the Ariel phenomenon documentary is part of the legacy of one of the chief investigators, Dr. John Mack.
Hmm.
Dr. John Mack is the one famously associated with this case, the psychiatrist from, Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
His name, more than all of the investigators, is associated with Ariel. He interviewed, I believe, 12 students. And we know the 12 students told him that they saw black men.
Hmm.
We don't know that because he tells us that, because he doesn't. While he is so identified with this incident, he absolutely omitted the black men from the narrative.
Mm.
And it is the John Mack's estate that recruited Randall to do the Ariel phenomenon documentary. So this documentary continues the legacy of the erasure of the black presence from Ariel that John Mack himself was a party to. So we have, for example, in the documentary, while I don't blame our sisters, I know they were under pressure. They were helped to misremember. And I know we caught some demonstrable mischief making because, do I have the second one? This is an important primary document. Sister Salma Siddiq, she drew this as a child. You see, I don't know if you can see it. The face is a human face. It's brown. The eyes are slanted. It has pupils.
Mm-hmm.
She liked the color of brown, the same brown as the brown crayon that she had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was young Salma's immediate reflection. Again, these were black men. They thought they were from Zimbabwe. Thought it was a gardener. This could be the gardener, or bald-headed. Very human face. The white of the eyes is present. The pupil, the iris and the pupil is present. This isn't no alien gray.
Mm-hmm.
This picture by Salma appears in Randall Nickerson's documentary, A Ariel Phenomenon, except it doesn't. What appears in the documentary is a digitally redrawn copy of this, in which this black human face is replaced with a gray alien face. The human eyes are replaced with the typical obsidian eyes of the typical gray alien. So this primary documentary witness was manipulated for the purposes of the documentary. So the black man that appeared in the original primary document is replaced with a gray alien in the documentary. That is what you call, dear Watson, a smoking gun. in terms of deception and manipulation. And it reveals the point and the trajectory of the deception. Aliens aren't the victims of government deception,
Mm,
government hiring and lying on aliens. No, the aliens are the deception, right?
mm,
The black pilots are the victims of the deception.
mm. Whew. Thank you so much for that. Oh, praise be to Allah. I just want to give those that have hopped on the show. It's been so deep already. So please excuse me, Brother Wesley, been going in, and like I stated that you guys definitely get this report, because if I know that a lot of you guys may not understand what we're talking about, but if you read this report, you're gonna understand. So that's why this is like really deep for me, because I read it and was able to understand it and was able to really take heed to the information I was given on the report. So I just want to say praise be to Allah, Brother Wesley. I want to say shout out to Brother Matthew pulled in, Brother Charles. We have here Brother Lawrence, Brother Kamal. Yes, praise be Sister Jaslyn, Brother Kevin. I just want to give everybody love and shout out. Thank you guys for joining us. If you guys are enjoying this show so far, please put the fire emojis in the comment section. I don't know, Dr. Wesley. We may have to do a part 2 if you got
Sure.
time one day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because we
Yes.
have a lot of questions. I know we may not be able to get through all the questions today. And I also just want to say again, if you guys are enjoying this show, please show your support today by texting the word donate to 937. I'm sorry, 614-585-6040, or check out the donation info on the screen below. All donations will go towards the continuation of Healing with Angelica's podcast. I love you all. So let's get back to reclaiming the narrative, UFO Black Guys, and the awakening of our people with Dr. Wesley. All right, Dr. Wesley, like I stated, I know we ain't got that much time, but we got a lot of questions. I want to go ahead and get to it.
Yeah.
All right, yes, sir.
Hey,
Let me see here. All right, let's see here. Oh, that was a lot of questions. Let me see here. I want to get to this one. We have a question here from Brother Lawrence. He asks, Assalamu alaikum, why is the U.S. government so invested in making sure the public doesn't know the truth about the black pilots?
mhm. For the same reason, the U.S. government, since the Reagan administration, has the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tagged as what's called a disclosure threat.
Hmm.
Again, we got to go back to this Negro problem
Hmm.
that is the Achilles heel of this country. The government came to the knowledge and understanding that this country's fate is tied to this Negro problem. These black people in America that they enslaved. America, the American government knows its fate is tied to this people.
Hmm.
America will not let God's people go. America intends to fight God. The government has to, in a crisis situation, the government has to control the population.
Yes.
FEMA has to be able to, and now the Department of Homeland Security has to be able to give instructions and have the population follow the instructions. America has always considered and feared that if a real live UFO, mass UFO event occurs, if Black people are successfully made to understand that these UFOs are here on their behalf against the country, then Black people will not be found compliant to Department of Homeland Security instructions. So any narrative, the UFO narrative offered by the Nation of Islam is the threat to population control measures once these ships actually manifest. The government wants us to believe that these are aliens who are a threat to national security. So when these ships appear over the cities, Department of Homeland Security issues instructions regarding these alien threats, the population are more likely to comply because they think these are aliens coming to enslave humans.
Yep.
But if Black people know that these are Black gods coming for our salvation to exact justice on our enemy, then you have a population of 50 million Black people who will totally bust out any Homeland Security controls attempted. So not anybody, because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in particular was to stadiums filled with tens of thousands of Black people, giving the wrong narrative, the threatening narrative that made Black people non-compliant with, at that time, FEMA regulations for the future. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan was deemed the disclosure threat. And that's the situation today. These craft are here. The government knows that them, we, same. Same. They know that. So the people that you have abused, the people on whom your faith hinges, the UFO phenomenon is directly related to that, and are in fact here to give you your just due because of them. They don't want that. They are hell-bent in keeping that from being disclosed. That will destabilize all structures in this country. That disclosure will force a reevaluation of religion, force a reevaluation of anthropology, because these are aliens, these are humans who have been sequestered, humans who are on earth with you that you knew nothing about. They existed in stealth. They are a human lineage that's distinct from your human lineage. You won't find this human lineage written of in any anthropology book, but it's a bona fide, demonstrably human lineage that coexisted with you in stealth for the entirety of your existence, and you knew nothing about. For them to be disclosed turns the whole anthropology paradigm on its head, the whole historical paradigm and the whole religious paradigm on its head. So this disclosure, an alien disclosure, it's only mildly problematic. All right, we have to face that there are other beings in the 76 quintillion miles of the universe somewhere. Okay, that don't change nothing here on Earth.
Mm.
It does not revise any racial or social hierarchy, change nobody's politics. It does nothing but make us a little humbler in our place in the vastness of space. But the truth of the matter, there's this human lineage on Earth that's superior to you.
Mm.
You didn't know anything about, that trumps all of your knowledge and scientists, a human lineage that shares this earth with you. And they're Muslim. That disclosure is far more socially, publicly catastrophic than the disclosure that there's some green aliens on some planet X someplace.
Mm. Thank you for answering that so beautifully. You made it clear as day. There are people up there. So,
Them same thing.
same thing. I love it. Praise be to Allah. I have so many questions. We're gonna have to do a part two, but I do want to get this question in because it elaborates on what you just stated, and I believe it's definitely a fair question to ask. Seeing that if we are same, then I'm gonna go ahead and go to the question. Though, let me see where did it go because I wanted to pose that question. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay. We have brother or sister Alive Cadit said, if the baby planes are here for black people, why don't they take more direct action on our behalf, like intervening in African nations or police brutality incidents in America?
Yeah. They absolutely have taken action on our behalf. You just don't know what to look for when you're looking for action.
Hmm.
I assume by action you mean why don't the baby planes, when our dear brother was killed in Minneapolis, what's our brother's name? Who was recently killed? That sparked all of the riots.
I don't want to say George Floyd. That wasn't him. Was
Yes,
it
George
George
Floyd.
Floyd?
George,
Okay.
that's his name, right? George Floyd.
Yes. If we're wrong, somebody correct us. But I know he started a lot of riots.
Yeah. Well, he did. Let's not
Oh
put that
well,
on
yeah.
him. He did. He was murdered.
Yes, right.
So I guess our questioner might have thought that they killed our brother. Why didn't a wheel come and blow up the police station? No, God doesn't direct act like that. That's not how God's direct act looks, but God directly acts. God directly acted on behalf of black people by raising up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. By God, I mean the architect and chief captain of these ships that y'all are so fascinated about. These UFOs and the mothership that the Pentagon is writing about. The architect and the captain of it is Master Fard Muhammad, the one who gave black people the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He is raised up by the intelligences behind these craft. He is raised up, and I should say, not intelligence is plural, but the intelligence, the divine intelligence, Master Fard Muhammad himself. The intelligence behind and on board this craft absolutely directly intervened in the affairs of black people. And he has given us guidance on how to avoid these situations. So this is how God acts. I heard the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan say how God wants us to agree with him. And he gives this example. You know, when the angels came to Abraham before destroying Sodom and Gomorrah, they knew how wicked Sodom and Gomorrah was. So God came to Abraham, God and two angels. And God, the man in memory, and God let Abraham know he's going to destroy Sodom for their wickedness. Abraham didn't agree. Abraham wanted to spare the people. God could have said, stand down. I done made the decree. I know these people. I know what you know not. I know that level of wickedness that even you, my servant Abraham, the best of my servants, that even you don't know. So stand down. I got this. He could have, but he didn't do that. He countenanced Abraham. Well, if you can find 50, then I spare him. He knows there's 50 isn't there, but he wants his servant, he wants us to agree, to come to the same perspective that he has. So, all right, you can find 50. If you can find 20, 15, he keeps countenancing Abraham until Abraham finally sees and agrees with God. Then ain't nobody worth saving in here. That's how God works with us. He don't just do so. He has given Black people in America and in Africa the knowledge. He has the warning that would allow us to avoid certain situations. But he wants us to agree with him. And until we agree with him, see, Abraham each time had to bump his head against the reality that he was in denial of, right? That there's no people here worth saving. Every time he went looking for a number and it failed, he was bumping his head against the reality he was in denial of. And eventually he got the point, no, I was wrong. God, you were right. Okay, kill them people. I'm sure he didn't say that. But that's how Allah, God, works with his people, his servant people here in America. He has been telling us and giving us guidance and giving us the wherewithal to avoid these traps and to enter into the hereafter at once.
Yes.
But Black people like Abraham, we still think there's good in white people. Just like Abraham thought there was good in Sodomites and Gomorrites, the Negro persistently thought and thinks there's good in white people. So God lets us bump our head until we come to agree with him, like Abraham came to agree with him. No, you can't do nothing with Sodom and Gomorrah but destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. So God, meaning the reality behind these so-called UFOs, has absolutely been intervening in the affairs of Black people for 90 years now, over 90 years now. We just got to recognize it and get our minds in agreement with God. He will allow us to keep bumping our head until we come to agreement with him.
Wow.
That's his
mm.
way.
I love it. I love it. We just gotta come to agreement and we'll come to reality,
With
right?
me.
And accepting the truth for what it is. So I love it. Now, Dr. Wesley, it's up to you. Do you got time for a few more questions?
I do.
Or,
Let's do
okay.
it.
I'm on your time, Brother Wesley. So
Yeah, we,
just,
we, we take a few more questions.
okay. All right. So I see here we have a question from Lost Found One. I want to make sure and what was the ultimate goal? Okay, yes. He asked, Brother Wesley, why do I think he had altered what he said in other comments, but why do you believe the Savior allowed this momentum aerial event to take place? And what was the ultimate goal?
Yeah. Now, of course, to ask me or any of us the purpose of the Savior, it's a dangerous thing. We don't know the will, the explanation of the will of the Savior, except He revealed it to us through the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
So, short of that, we can only speculate. I do have a thought regarding the why of Ariel. Ariel is not an isolated incident. As I said earlier, it's the gods on these ships that have been engaging in a disclosure project for decades now.
Mm-hmm.
They are disclosing their reality. And their process of disclosure, when you examine the history of it and the incidents, you can see there's a method to the seeming madness. When disclosure happens, just a ship to an individual, a ship to a group, versus when disclosure happens with one of the pilots. How does it happen? Is it just a visual? Is it engagement? How is the engagement? Is it one or two? There are different types, but all of them make mathematical sense. So the gods want, they didn't leave it for the devil to lie on who's flying them. The gods have been disclosing themselves.
Yep.
God has been disclosing himself and these craft, the reality of these craft for decades. They've been engaging in a self disclosure project. So the Battle of Los Angeles, I'm going to get to Ariel, how I see Ariel
Mm-hmm.
in this self disclosure project that the gods have been engaged in. When the mothership, the mother wheel, and the fleet of baby planes appeared over Los Angeles on the eve of Savior's Day, 1942, when America was engaged in hostilities, World War II hostilities, wheel in a fleet of baby planes appeared over LA and went from one end of the coast all the way north down the coast. And the wheel slowly, majestically traversed the coast, the frightened Americans blowing their artillery, hitting it dead in center and doing nothing. And the wheel and its fighter planes dropping no bombs, sending no retaliatory bullets back, just slowly like a king, absorbing it and coasting from the southern coast to the northern coast and then backtracking.
Mm.
That was a moment of profound disclosure. The wheel and the baby plane, God introduced to the United States of America a measure of his might, not his offensive might, but defensive. I can absorb all that you got and be totally unmoved by it. So that was a grand moment of self-disclosure. Allah decided to gift the West first wanted a craft to study in 1933 in Magenta, Italy. Allah gave them, that was the first calling card Allah gave them, was in 1933. Gave it to Mussolini. Eventually it made its way to Hitler's Germany, and eventually it made its way to the US. And that craft that God gifted them, that baby plane that God gifted them in 1933, and that was obtained by the US, that became the basis of America's atomic bomb. By studying the atomic science of that wheel, America was able, Germany first split the atom, and then America was able to build this atomic bomb based on those secrets that they were allowed to extract from the gift that God gave them of the craft. That was a disclosure moment. 1947, Allah didn't just give them a craft, he gifted them the pilots, the bodies to study. And they did. Roswell happened. God gifted them the remains of the craft and pilots. You say, how can a baby plane crash? Well, it don't unless it intends to. Where do you think the Japanese got the principle of kamikaze from? Over 1,000 Japanese kamikazes made themselves as weapons in their planes in their war with Japan. Where do you think the kamikaze principle comes from? Where was the mother wheel built? On Japan, the island of Japan. The kamikaze culture, the kamikaze tactic in warfare didn't originate from Imperial Japan. God sent that, the Savior sent that baby plane and its pilots to the earth for the enemy to study. So they had the pilots and they had the proof of the black, they had the craft and they had the proof of the black pilots, confirming what the FBI got out of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1942 after they arrested him after the Battle of LA. So Roswell was a self-disclosure event.
Wow.
Battle of LA was a self-disclosure event. There have been, the guys have been engaged in a self-disclosure project from the beginning. Ariel of 1994 was a self-disclosure event. They chose the location scientifically. They chose the witnesses.
Yeah.
White students of wealthy parents in Africa. The timing of it, the placement of it, everything about that was well chosen. And that's why Ariel is a solid, one of the most solid in terms of a evidentiary basis. The Ariel incident is one of the most solid close encounter of the third kind incidents on record. The gods did that. And they showed themselves just enough long enough to burn that image in the mind of all of those students, but not long enough where the adult staff will come out, or you will have too traumatic an impact on those young students. So it was choreographed so perfectly, so mathematically. It was a self-disclosure event. And because of how it was choreographed, it is one of the most solid close encounter of the third kind mass events on record. They determined that they did that on purpose. So I understand it as it was intended. They knew it was going to be a foundational, solid, close encounter event on record, which is what they would have wanted as in terms of their self-disclosure project, I imagine.
As you were talking, I was thinking about how you were going back through those different self-disclosure events that has happened during time, and that made me think back on when you just brought up the story of was it Abraham or Adam? Abraham, I think. Um, and it wasn't until he was able to realize himself that, okay, yeah, maybe we're not gonna say it like that. Oh, maybe you need to go ahead and destroy him. So that made me think about how these self-disclosure events has happened over time. Could this have been a mercy for us to give us time to
Absolutely.
just, it made me think it's a mercy. Those self-disclosure events was a mercy for us. How I
Absolutely.
think. Yeah.
Absolutely was a mercy. Allah, the Savior, in his tremendous mercy, has been so patient with us. He traveled 9,000 miles for us. We are his purpose. He's been so patient with us. And he knew that he was coming to do what even the scientists of the council thought was impossible to do. And that is transform this so-called Negro who is made devil, born in the sin of American white supremacy and shaped in the iniquity of American white supremacy. This Negro, this killed black man, has then been made to ape the worst of his slave master and made devil. And the Savior came to transform this devil into a God, a God superior to the gods of the East. Now, mathematically, the scientists of the council couldn't even make that make sense. Our lessons say, can the devil be reformed? See, Yaqub took black people, and made devil. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he's Yaqub in reverse.
Yep.
He's taking black devils and making gods.
Yes.
Right? The scientists over there did not believe that was doable, was possible. The Savior, the greatest God to ever live in 76 trillion years, he's doing that. But he knows it's not an abracadabra thing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, one of our scientists blew the moon from the earth. And he said, if we wanted to, we could bring the moon back to the earth. But then he said, it lets us know how it's done. It ain't no abracadabra. Ain't no wave of magic wand. He said that, billions and trillions of years, dust particles from the moon can fall back to the earth, and over time, the moon will be rejoined to the earth. See, God's process is a long, methodical, patient process.
Mhm.
Thank God for that because He brought that patience to bear with us. And so we live off His mercy, we live off His patience, but I would caution me and us.
Yeah.
There's a hadith Qudsi, meaning a hadith in which Allah Himself speaks, which Allah says, "My mercy precedes my wrath."
Mm.
2 points here. 1 point, the glass half full point is God's instinct is mercy.
Yep.
His first order is mercy. That's a glass half full. But the second point, the glass half empty, is you can exhaust that mercy, and
Oh,
behind it is wrath.
yes.
And we don't want to play with God. We don't want to exhaust God's mercy. How do we avoid that? How do we measure that? By how we treat His servant, how we
Mm.
handle His servant, the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan. Because it's always going to be, since God has come, it's going to be a representative of God in our midst. In some way,
Yeah.
He placed the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan, and he's the eternal door to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader. There's no replacing him.
Mm-hmm.
We are judged by Allah, by how we handle Him. And we can exhaust His mercy on us, I imagine, by how we handle who He has deposited among us. So let's not play with Allah by playing with His servant
Mm.
or mishandling His servant.
Praise be to Allah. And I love that you ended it off on that because we're going to end the show on that. Praise be to Allah. Oh my God. I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Wesley, for
Thank
joining us
you.
today. Yes, to just
Thank
discuss
you.
this. Yes, this amazing discussion. And inshallah, I have to bring my brother back for a part two because this just goes so deep, right?
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
just want to say again, thank you guys for joining us on this well needed topic, reclaiming the narrative, UFOs, black gods, and the awakening of our people. I would also like to thank Closing the Gap Broadcast and Knowledge for Life. Please be sure to support these two amazing broadcasts. Shout out to Closing the Gap Broadcast. I thank them for their support of Healing with Angelica. So please, again, be sure to check out all the broadcasts on Closing the Gap broadcast. And also, of course, my amazing audience for joining us today. This was my first time being back in 6 months. So I thank you guys for joining us. And I pray that this episode, of course, was informative, valuable, and of course, most importantly, healing to you all. So before we leave, Dr. Wesley, please, please, please leave us with some closing remarks.
Well, just my thanks to you and your powerful platform and all of those who help you in this effort. Keep up the great, great effort. Put in positive, substantive material over the airways. May Allah continue to bless you and all of those with you, dear sister.
Praise be to Allah. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Wesley, for joining us today. Inshallah, you guys will have a part two. And for our next show, we will have our good brother, Brother Demetrix Muhammad. I always say his name wrong. Brother Demetrix. Yes.
Brother Dimitri. Mhm.
Yes, yes. Brother Demetric Muhammad, April 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I think you guys are going
All
to
of you
make me.
tune in. Shout out
Yes.
to my dear brother, student minister Dimitri.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I just want to say thank you all for joining us again, and we leave you all as we came. Assalamu alaikum. Peace, healing, and light.
Wow.
Peace and blessings. My name's Sister Angelica X. We are out here serving our community, making our community a decent and safe place to live. Nurture from a deep knowing that healing isn't a destination. We gotta remember that.
Most every disease can be eliminated through herbs, plant-based eating, internal cleansing.
Okay. I am healing. I am whole. I am powerful. I am divine. I restore. I rise. I thrive.